treated to a works in Beckton in East London. Let's speak to Leana Hosea. She's the co-runs Watershed. It's an investigative journalism unit focusing on water issues. This explanation about the spills being down to our heavy rains, as I understand it, the High Court ruling was that sewage should only be dumped in exceptional circumstances, in exceptional weather. So unique, they said, that it cannot be foreseen. I guess it's a judgment call, but I don't class heavy rain as exceptional circumstances. Do you?
I mean, it is legal for water companies to release in those rare circumstances of heavy rain, like you said. And this is what, the UK water, the industry body, blames for the increase in spills last year. But what we've all found out really over time is that water companies are not just releasing sewage in times of heavy rain. I mean, a BBC investigation found that in 2022, 3 water companies released sewage for 3,500 hours in dry weather, which does suggest that dumps were illegal. So the revelations from the data today over those huge, doubling of increase in hours of spills is really going to put pressure on the water industry and on government. Some activists are already calling for an immediate investigation by the regulators because, the numbers are just enormous. I mean, 3.6 million hours, which, as I said, double than the year before. So if we look at Thames Water, for example, that increased by 50,000 hours and spills increased by 302. And actually, United Utilities in the Northwest looks like it's the worst offender with the highest number of spills, which are, wait for it, 97,537.
Goodness me.
So it's
Anglian Water had the biggest increase in the number of spills in the figures I looked at, and rainfall in East Anglia was below the UK average. So that sort of backs up what you're saying. I mean, everyone seems to accept that historically there have been problems and not enough investment. But do you think things are heading in the right direction?
I mean, obviously, your report mentioned the super sewer, this 16-mile-long pipe, which is essentially going to act like a giant storage tank to divert, waste from 34 sewage outflows from the River Thames, which, we have seen over the years becoming really like an open sewer. I myself have stood on those island of wet wipes and sanitary towels on its banks, and it is just horrible. So the super sewer is going to hold about 600 Olympic-sized swimming pools, and that will get treated. But it's not going to be a silver bullet. There will be times when it's going to reach capacity. And if the treatment works are also at capacity, we are going to see sewage spills. And not all of the treatment works will be connected to the super sewer. For example, Mogden Sewage Works, which deals with the waste of 2 million Londoners. So I looked into that a couple of years ago and found that in 2020, they released the equivalent of 800 Olympic swimming pools of sewage in just 2 days. So the amount of sewage that we're dealing with is absolutely huge. And, there is going to be investment by Thames Water.
Well, the companies say it'll be triple the rate that it is now, and that it would cut spills by 40% by 2030, which in one sense is good news, but that means we're still going to have 60% of the spills that we currently have.
Yes, there's been a lot of criticism that the upgrades to the system and the government targets themselves are not ambitious enough, and they're just not fast enough, because obviously what is at stake are the health of our rivers. Only 14% of England's rivers meet a good ecological status. And there's also been criticism that overall, there's a big problem with the whole sewage infrastructure, which was built in the Victorian times. It's just not able to cope with this population growth and the amount of sewage that we're producing. So as your report kind of said, we've got this combined sewage overflow system where you've got one pipe which takes all the rainwater and all the sewage in one pipe. And if they updated the whole network so that there was just one pipe for sewage, then that'd be a lot, smaller volumes for the sewage system to be able to deal with. And, there's also a lack of investment, I think, in, nature-based solutions, increasing those kind of areas that with climate change, there's going to be increased intensity of rain at some times and then drought at other times. So we need to be increasing our
certainly climate change is going to have an impact, isn't it? Yeah. Leana Hosea, thank you very much for coming on the programme. Good to talk to you.